I felt like in 2020 after March, it became a fairly easy decision. The entire world had a problem of monetary expansion. If you're an engineer, you look for a technology solution to a problem. There are a lot of non-technology solutions to monetary expansion. I mean, gold is a 5,000-year-old non-technology solution. And now Bitcoin is the technology solution. I had 10 years of experience. I could look back on what all the Bitcoiners have done for a decade. And I just had to make a guess, which is the rest of the world going to be rational and look for a technology solution to their problem? And I don't think it's an irrational thing to bet on technology in the modern era. So that's what Bitcoin is, great monetary technology. You know, I think what's driving the Bitcoin market is institutions. And institutions are bringing billions and billions of dollars to Bitcoin because they want to store a value against monetary inflation. Everybody's buying this Bitcoin on regulated exchanges. They're storing it with regulated custodians, and they're doing it subject to AML, KYC regulations that have been in place for a long, long time. There's not anybody that's buying Bitcoin right now that isn't expecting to do it on a regulated exchange subject to normal regulations. And the fact that AML, KYC regulations apply to bonds, Apple stock, Tesla stock, and other types of assets hasn't kept them from having value. So I think the summary here is we're going to find conventional AML, KYC regulations applied in Europe and the United States. And everyone that's buying Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin as a monetary inflation hedge is going to find that to be acceptable. And this is much ado about nothing. You know, if I wanted to take $1 billion of Tesla stock and wire it to a private wallet in sub-Saharan Africa, my bank wouldn't let me. That doesn't keep me from buying Tesla stock, right? If I wanted to take $100 million worth of farmland in the middle of the United States and wire it to a private wallet somewhere in Asia, that doesn't, you know, the government wouldn't let me. I can't physically do it. It doesn't keep me from buying farmland as an inflation hedge. People are going to buy Bitcoin because it is great property in cyberspace as a monetary inflation hedge. If you actually put regulations on it that are anti-money laundering regulations, or you put regulations that have to do with know your customer to prevent using it to finance any illicit activity, it's not going to undermine its value as property because it's the most pristine, highest quality property in the 21st century. People are going to buy it. There are going to be regulations that'll vary from country to country, and I think it'll be just fine. There are going to be some people that aren't going to like those regulations, and I understand that, but it's not going to impair the usefulness of Bitcoin as a monetary inflation hedge. First of all, I think that the massive corrections are becoming less massive year by year, quarter by quarter, month by month. The market in Bitcoin is stabilizing as more institutions come into it, and I think we can see it over the past 12 months. Second, I think that everything that's living on this earth is volatile, and things that are dead are not volatile. And so I would much rather have a volatile 300% return than a non-volatile 15% return or a lesser return. And there's least volatility in cash with a 0% return. So stability is stagnation. Volatility is vitality. Living things are volatile. I like living things. I want to live. Life force implies volatility. It's like a Jedi mind trick to convince you should be afraid of volatility. If volatility is going to return 200% pre-tax every year for 12 years or for 10 years, and you're afraid of it, you lost 99.5% of your wealth because you're afraid of volatility. That's like, you can't raise your children in a bubble and tell them they should not. I mean, if they stay in their basement and they never leave the house and you surround them with the bubble, how are they going to grow and live and prosper? Our finance strategy and our balance sheet view is that we should be invested in Bitcoin and we should be plugged into the digital monetary network, which is Bitcoin. I think that thousands and thousands of other companies, thousands of institutions, hundreds of millions, and eventually billions of people will also plug into that monetary network. We're going to enthusiastically evangelize that. We're going to educate the world on how you can plug into that monetary network, and we're going to plug into that monetary network with our technology and with our financial assets as best we can.